Poison Rana.
Honey, what up, now?
Entrance music hit, the crowd is lit, you know it's going down. Announcers know that pound for pound, these superstars, the dopest round. Be Detroit will lock you in a lion tamer, no disclaimer. Lee inside your back, you forced to tap his facts, you in some danger. See no tagging in, suplexing like he tazzing, spazzing out on rappers. Give receipts as stiff as mannequins, we cashing in. My brothers know what up though, my cousins know what up though. My fans in the family from the city say what up though. My mama know what up though, my auntie say what up though. All around the city, if you with me, say what up though. Bring the hammer like it's Valentine, you know we bout that action. Prime breaking through your stable, flaming table used for power bombs. Pristine classics with these matches we putting on. Knees slapping, super kicking, bars strong as Glamazon.
Poison Rana.
What up, though? Welcome to another episode of What Up, Though? I am your host, B. Trey, joined here again with my tag team partner, John Siino. What up, though, brother?
What's up, man? I feel like I just talked to you.
That's because you did.
We did. Yes, we just recorded an episode of upNXT. If you haven't listened and you want some more of B and myself, please listen to this week's episode of upNXT on the Post Wrestling YouTube channel and all your podcast feeds. But yeah, we're not here. I mean, we are here to talk about wrestling a little bit, but not NXT. We're here to talk about a lot other stuff in the world.
Yeah, you know, a couple things happen. You know, a couple minor things. I'm just joking. Right before this show started, before me and Siino started talking about doing the show, when we was going to do the show, we were like, what are we going to talk about? And we sat there for a minute, and Siino's like, I don't know, I haven't really seen any movies this month. I don't know. I said, I've just been gaming a little bit, playing a little 2K WWE. And then Kendrick Lamar said, don't worry, guys, I got you. He said, don't worry, guys, I got you. But we could talk about other things like Full Gear and a couple other things like War Games coming up this weekend, which I'm very excited about. To see the Bloodline culminate, everything with that story. I want to kick it off with a little bit of Full Gear, man. How was that clicking up with Braden and Davey up in New York?
Yeah, we had a fun little time there. It was myself, Fire Frank. I even brought little Siino, little Lorenzo came with me to his first AEW show. He wasn't going to come at first, but scheduling permitted. And once he found out about the Rizzler being there, he was like, I got to be there. I got to be there. So, yeah, we headed out to Newark on Friday. We met up with Davey and Braden on Saturday. We went to we started off with the American Dream Mall, the second biggest mall in the world, and we watched some wrestling there. And then we ended up going to Full Gear at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. And it was long. And Lorenzo probably stated the best. He said it was too long. You know, he wasn't really too familiar with a lot of the talents. He did immediately connect with Orange Cassidy. I feel like Orange Cassidy is very big on the kids. But like the whole presentation for somebody like him who just saw an AEW show for the first time, and only comparisons he has is indie shows and wrestling, WWE. He probably prefers indie wrestling the most because it's that really intimate feel. You know, the wrestlers are right there in your face and whatnot. Mm-hmm. But like the main issues with AEW is a bunch of issues, but like the audio, we couldn't really hear too much. Like when they actually spoke on the microphone, whenever MJF and Max Caster were talking, we couldn't really hear it. The video aspect of it, they only showed some of the match on like the screen, like by the stage, but not the one on top of the ring, which is like what we would have looked at. But that was never on except for Mina and Mira, which I totally understandable why you put that on the jumbo screen. But nothing else we saw was on that. So that alone, plus the fact that it was very long, no real breaks. It kind of goes from match to match, and a lot of matches have similar formula. But yeah, overall, I would say thumbs in the middle show. For me, I really enjoyed, obviously, Ospreay and Fletcher. That was match of the night. Could be one of the top matches of the year. I really enjoyed Mercedes and Statlander. That's one of Statlander's best matches. Other than that, every other match was okay. Some matches, like there wasn't nothing really too bad, but like a lot of the stuff could have been on Collision or Dynamite.
Yeah, I watched the event with everybody in Dickie's private Discord we have it going, but you know everything was everything was fine. It was just some matches I just didn't really care about per se, like the Roderick Strong MJF match. I mean, No stakes attached to that match at all. I didn't care for the Jungle Boy Daniel Garcia match. I like Daniel Garcia, but I don't care for Jungle Boy so much. Or
The main
Jack
problem
Perry.
for that was they had the segment right before that with the champagne celebration, which like there was no reason for that to be there. There was no surprise
reason for it.
return.
Yeah.
Like that could have easily been done on like even like on a Rampage. Like that segment was okay, but like there was no reason for that to be on the show. Once that happened, all the matches up until like Lashley and Shelton were like dead. It finally picked up with Lashley just because everybody likes to sing his song. We hurt people. We hurt people. But yeah, like that segment kind of killed the crowd, unfortunately. But yeah, they were dead for Garcia and Perry. They were dead for Takeshita and Ricochet. I expected that to be better. Yes. That match like was not good at all. But yeah, finally picked up with Lashley and Shelton. And the main event, it really picked up. But the ending, I don't know how that. I haven't watched it back on TV though. But us as a crowd, we were so confused. We're like, why is Hangman Page there? Why is Christian there? Why is Jay White there? Why is the Rocky Romero there? It was like so much going on. And then it ends with like a very WCW Nitro ending with the car crash and everything. We're just like, this is an interesting way to end the show. But yeah, it kind of started really slow. It picked up with Mercedes and the Jay White Adam Page and the Kyle Fletcher match, and then kind of died again in the middle, and then it picked up again at the end. So it was very like literally like an up and down show. Outside of Fletcher and Ospreay, the biggest reaction the crowd had was for Big Boom AJ and the Rizzler and all that. I'll be honest, I was totally wrong about that. I thought Braden Harrington was gonna be the only person in there cheering for them. As soon as we stood online and I saw a whole bunch of kids and teenagers, I never see kids and teenagers at AEW show. So when I saw them there with all their boom signs, I'm like, okay, they definitely brought in the crowd here, and it was 10,000 strong in there. And I feel like a good chunk of that was probably just for the Costco guys.
Yeah, TikTok. The power of TikTok is unmatched. They're popular on TikTok, and I still don't understand it. But hey, they brought the views because they got like 10 million views on one of the clips on one of the social platforms. I'm not sure which one it was, but I'm sure it was from that match. But it got like 10 million views, and it's keep climbing because people love those guys. But now you were there, so during the champagne celebration, right? Mm-hmm. It was kind of like, because it was crazy because I was listening and the crowd kind of didn't know where to go because she tried to turn on her with the bottle. She turns and kicks the bottle. They go off the ramp through the table.
No, on top of the table. They didn't go through.
On top of it, they bounced off the first table, went through the second.
Yeah, it looked rough no matter what.
I forgot about that, right? And then the person who was turning heel, the names are escaping me right now because it sounds
Mina?
so similar.
It was Mina and Mariah. Yeah.
Mina and Mariah. Yeah, they're so similar right now. But it seems like the crowd didn't even take I don't know, it seemed like a double heel turn. Like it was weird. Like it didn't work. It didn't work.
And like honestly, I think the crowd expected Tony Storm, especially like when they first had teased this announcement or something along the lines of it. There was one of the segments on I think it was Dynamite or Collision where like it just flashed and showed like the black and white screen. And it was like, okay, Tony Storm is gonna show up. And then she went on like social media this past week and was like, I'm gonna retire from professional wrestling. We're all like, okay, it's an angle. Like she's obviously gonna return back. And then she didn't return. It's like, was she serious? I don't think she was serious because it was all in character. But like I thought she was gonna show up, but it might be a little too early. They're probably setting up for this Australia show, which has moved from a 50,000 capacity stadium to a 13,500 arena. I don't know if you heard that, but unfortunately, they did not sell in Australia. Dickie Bird cannot get, I guess, enough of his friends there to buy tickets. Yeah, they were trying to fill 50,000 seater.
That's very ambitious, but I think they're going to pack out the 13.
I think they already did, honestly.
What's wrong with that?
I think I want to say they sold about 10,000 tickets to that, if I'm not mistaken. So if all the tickets transfer over to this arena, then it's going to be packed in there, which is going to be a much better atmosphere. It's exactly what we've been asking for. And I guess we can kind of touch on that as well. For the 2025 schedule, they have announced a bunch of smaller arenas for both Dynamite and Collision, which I think is what they needed. They're doing the Galaxy Con show. They're doing a couple like amphitheater type of shows and whatnot. So I feel like it's going to look a lot better on TV than being like like for Full Gear it worked. 10,000, you pack 10,000, good, but they're not doing that on a Dynamite on a weekly basis at this state of the way that AEW is.
First of all, it looks bad on TV when they go into these big buildings and they don't pack them out, and that doesn't look good on the people who's just like casually turning on Dynamite just because they were looking for the game, So them doing small arenas, you want 10,000 Aussies on top of each other yelling. You don't want them spaced out in this 50,000 seater. But them doing smaller venues, yes, please. Now you can come back to Detroit and do the exact same venue the TNA did down in Wayne State and pack it out. You could do about 3 shows there. You could tape a Ring of Honor. You can tape a Collision all in one weekend and do the exact same thing TNA did. They had a good crowd for their TV taping and everything. So that place is capable for back-to-backs. A lot of places are going to be capable for that. As long as they got good places where people are going to come out and see them and pack these small places out, that's not going to be a problem, especially these big cities. Like you go to Chicago and you got a 30,000 seater or 15,000 seater and you guys got like 2,000 people packing it. Like, come on, man. Like you can't, that doesn't look good on TV. Doesn't look good at all.
Kind of to stay on AEW, but going through like the same topic, they're the Hammerstein shows that they announced. They're going to be doing Ring of Honor on the Friday the 20th, followed by a live Collision on the Saturday, and then a taped edition on Dynamite that Sunday to air on Christmas Day. And this has started what I like to call the Hammerstein Wars between them and GCW, because GCW had announced a Hammerstein show prior to AEW's announcement, and they struggled for tickets. And I guess they think that because of the AEW announcement, it's going to hurt them even more. Not sure if there's any truth to that. Like maybe promote your product better. You know, I don't know what to tell you. Like, they shouldn't be blaming like another company for running in the same venue a month prior. But this has caused a lot of controversy. Ricky Starks was announced for GCW. Now he's been removed from GCW because of some back and forth. Kind of touched on it up next a little bit. But what do you think of this whole situation with Tony Khan punishing the fans and Ricky Starks just because of something, another talent that had nothing to do with Ricky Starks, or AEW said something?
I'm not hip to what Effie said. You know, I don't know what happened or what was said between anybody. So I can't sit here and say, oh, Tony Khan shouldn't took it that personal. But I still don't think you should take these bookings from these guys. You know, especially someone who's not being used on TV and has no plans of being used on TV in the first place. Like a Ricky Starks or anyone else that's trying to get booked for themselves. It's not a service to you or the fans. So yeah, I do have a problem with that. But if what was said was that scathing, I guess, you know, you're the booker, man. You hold the power.
So
you know?
I can actually, since I started to actually experiment here with StreamYard, we have some capabilities of using some audio and visual assistance on this What Up Doe episode, and I figured, why not go to postwrestling.com itself, as they do have the clip from Effie that was the reasoning for the pulling of Ricky Starks. So give me a second here to pull it up here, and we can actually you can listen for yourself exactly what was said from A1 Effie. Let's go here.
Still wasn't that sold on tickets, and this is nothing to the talent. I think the talent, you should take anything you can get, but also y'all have no buzz, no draw, and we've been riding the lightning on having to actually run a profitable company for the past few years to continue existing. We do not have as much backup. I'll put it this way. My company, I don't run a company. Our company, GCW can't run on a $40 million deficit and continue to run shows. But some of us have the privilege of being able to run at a $40 million deficit.
Brett doesn't own a football team?
Brett does not own a football team. Brett doesn't have a dad who pays him to stay away. I don't want this to be a personal thing. Like, I don't, but hey, guys, you're not the only game in town. It's fine. I can't stop you from running venues. But in my line of work, when TNA Impact wanted to run center stage, GCW, a month before and a month after, were told we could not have those dates that we had secured before because it was competing with something they were doing. And now it just seems the game and the respect never goes both ways, and it's fine. We're not mad. Our people will be there. Our show will be great. We will show it out. But it isn't fun to see that, like, we're so out of ideas right now that the timing is that conspicuous to you showing up and doing that immediately after we announced that we're doing that.
Yeah. So doesn't want to make it personal, but, you know, my dad doesn't own a football team, and my dad doesn't pay me to stay away. I think you got a little personal there, Effie.
That's where it went. That's where it went south. You know what, though? I don't understand why AEW wasn't doing Hammerstein this entire existence.
Yeah.
5 years, right?
Yeah, they should have been.
You take over Ring of
They
Honor.
should have relaunched Ring of Honor. Like their debut show should have been from Hammerstein.
You take over Ring of Honor and you do no shows in Hammerstein.
Yeah.
What? So I get the frustration from Effie, but yeah, I guess the personal attacks was kind of because it was a backhanded personal attack. I get it. But like I said, I don't like to see guys miss their bookings. You know, Starks was going to put asses in seats. So that's unfortunate.
That was the biggest pop of that whole American Dream show was when Ricky Starks came out. You heard his music and he comes down the escalator. People were excited to actually see him wrestling. He's been off TV for how long now? You know, and now he's finally showing up here in House of Glory and whatnot. Hopefully, it doesn't affect like other independents and he can still wrestle outside of AEW because they don't want to use him for whatever reason. I don't know the full details. If he doesn't want to be used or they don't want to use him, I don't know. I know he went on the Chris Van Vliet podcast and kind of talked about it a little bit more in depth. But from what I heard so far, he seems really frustrated and he doesn't want his years being wasted, which is totally understandable. He's still young. He's ready made for WWE. So when the contract does end, I feel like he's going to show up, but they're making it rather difficult for him, unfortunately. But yeah, this whole AEW GCW thing is silly. I had feeling something like this was going to happen because coming out of Full Gear, there was like some AEW fans that were upset because GCW had a street team out there and they were like promoting the Hammerstein show. And it's like, why are you guys getting upset at it? They're obviously it's a New York area, New Jersey area. Why are you upset for a wrestling show to promote at another wrestling show? This has been going on as far as I remember. I remember going to WWE back in the days at MSG and there's some independent companies giving out flyers. So I don't see anything wrong with that. Like, it's not like, oh, AEW owns Hammerstein. You can't do a show there. You can't promote it. No, it's like wrestling's wrestling. That's
called promotion. You go to, I'll leave a wrestling show here with 6 or 7 flyers.
Yeah.
Just for everything. TNA, indie show, anything. So I don't understand that. Yeah. That's some real cult level fandom to like the next degree, man. We gotta stop. We can't be like that as wrestling fans, man. Come on, we gotta tighten up.
And like I said,
it's already enough infighting within the companies. We can't be out here going crazy on promotions. Like what's up with y'all? Y'all don't want to watch wrestling? Come on.
Yeah,
we was fans, huh?
It's really sad, and like I don't know how it's gonna affect the rest of because it doesn't sound like a Ricky Starks problem. Supposedly, it's not a Ricky Starks problem. So if that's the case, and Tony Khan, whoever AEW is upset at GCW, then you would think all AEW talents would be prohibited from showing up at a GCW show. Now, I'm not sure when this FE podcast was recorded or shared, but it didn't affect Sunday because the day after Full Gear, you had MVP, you had John Moxley, you had Marina Shafir all show up at Bloodsport. Most likely they're going to be showing up at the next Bloodsport or the next maybe another GCW event going in the future. I know like they've used Danhausen in the past. Is he not eligible to show up at GCW anymore? I don't know.
It's still in the company.
He is. Yeah, he's. Oh. I hate to say this, but like a lot of people who have either ties or close relationships to both Cody Rhodes and CM Punk, I feel like have either like not been used properly or just not been used at all. Example, Ricky Starks. Example, CM Punk. Jamie Hayter, who was very vocal about CM Punk and appreciating him and being upset that a company didn't want to work with him. She's kind of not been used to her full potential. Even like a FTR, who are obviously very close to CM Punk, haven't really been used that correctly in the last couple of months. I feel like I don't know. It's really I really hope it's not a petty issue, and I hope it's just whatever. But yeah, like the Lucha Brothers situation, you know, they're obviously headed to WWE and they got their contracts extended and whatnot. So I don't know. The whole thing is tricky. And like I said, we all suffer as fans. The talent suffers for not being able to go out there and perform. They just sit at home and get paid, which is not a bad thing if you like that. But somebody like a Ricky Starks, you can tell he doesn't care about that. He wants to go out there and show the world what he can do.
Now, let me be the person who's going to say that I think it's just the part of too many cooks over there too. You know, they only got so much time on air. Yeah, they got Collision. Rampage is dead, right?
It looks like it's going to be. There hasn't been any news of it. Like in
Rampage is dead, right?
There's rumors of this Shockwave show, but there hasn't been any more information.
Who the hell was watching Rampage?
I was on a weekly basis on Shot in the Dark. Yeah,
you have a job to do. But you watch it, so we don't have to. Yeah. But you got Collision and you got Dynamite. So you got you got to get these titles pushed on Dynamite. So you can't have everybody on TV. I get it. We got too many people at one point in time. I think AEW, they should have cut off bringing in WWE guys at a certain point. And now they're at the point where even when they bring them in, the hype is 3 weeks minimum, maximum, really 3 weeks, and it's pretty much over with. Ricochet's hype is pretty after that match at Full Gear. I don't know, bro. Like I don't know. They got like 2 more weeks with the Hurt Syndicate to fumble that, and then it's a wrap for that.
That was gonna be my next question. How do you think they've been handling the whole like Hurt Syndicate and the rollout for them?
I don't like it. I don't like what they've done with Swerve. Like I like Swerve, man. I really do. But I don't think these guys need to even encounter each other right now off the bat. Like they should have just gave the Hurt Syndicate somebody to smash real quick. Like they need somebody to make example out of. This is going to show you we're not the same as we were in WWE. We're different over here. We're really hurting people. They haven't hurt people yet. Yeah. Where's the people? they should have fed Dark Order to them or something.
We recruit people because that's all they've been doing. Really, they've been handing out cards to Ricochet and Max Caster.
Yeah, they gotta hurt people. I don't understand why they're not hurting people. They're not hurting Swerve. They're gonna have another match. This is going to go for another pay-per-view cycle.
Yeah.
So, and then where's Sheldon been? He had that one match when he first came in. Now he's been in the suit for 3 weeks.
He is going to be in the Continental Classic, so he is going to be putting out some bangers. So at least that's good. At least I have him set in that. He's going to be in there wrestling Beast Mortals. I'm not sure which bracket he's in, but I know Beast Mortals is another name that's going to be in it. So yeah, so at least he has that going for him. But my real question is like, what do you do with Lashley? Like, obviously he's a world champion potential, but I can't see him in the world title picture with everything going on right now with the Death Riders and Jon Moxley feuding with who knows who. I can't see Lashley being mixed up in that.
Who needs some time off? Because Lashley needs to hurt him. You know what I'm saying? If Darby wants to go do some stunts, let Lashley hurt him. That's what I'm saying. He needs to hurt some people, dude. I don't understand why like they think that WWE fumbled him. Yeah, they fumbled him because they didn't let him be a monster like he really is. He's a well-dressed monster. You know, and that's how you're going to get this guy across. We need to make him a big deal. He can't just come in and have great matches with Swerve. You know what I'm saying? You got to crush him heads first. And that's my main gripe about it. Everything else is good. They got a great theme song. MVP looks good. He's talking up a storm. His side of the ring work is top notch. Him and Prince Nana are the greatest managers they have in the company right now. But I don't think they need to encounter each other right now. This is too soon. They should have waited down the line and hopefully joined. You know,
I'm gonna play a small clip from the post show of Full Gear. It was a question I was presented to her syndicate as a whole, and Bobby Lashley took it. And I kind of want to get your thoughts on exactly how he handled this question and what he said.
Hi, Kate from Fightful. You guys seem very motivated to find gold here, and I just wanted to ask what it was like to come into a company and see so many Black champions, and what it meant to challenge right off the bat, essentially, a former Black world champion.
I don't like that. I don't like that Black champion. It's just a champion. See, we've normalized this already, and that's what I want to do with it. You winning a title as a Black champion, and there's other Black champions here. We can kind of erase that word now. We could just say champion. It could be a Black champion. It could be Asian champion. It could be Latin champion. It could be any champion. So we've already normalized that. So we can kind of erase that Black champion, and it's just champion now.
It's great.
Yeah. So
I'm glad he corrected her. I'm glad he did. That's man. Yeah. First of all, it should have been a thing with these reporters. Like, come on, how many championships has Lashley won in WWE? Like, you're sitting there next to MVP, who's been a champion how many times over and how many organizations. I get it. I'm glad he corrected her straight up. That's the way you do it, Bobby, and that was very classy of him too.
Yeah, to me, it felt like a gotcha moment because they got Triple H at the last conference where they were saying how, like, you know, how do you feel about Black talent being misrepresentation? And he said the infamous line, unfortunately, I don't see color, which could be critiqued in each and every way. And they kind of like took that and reversed it and threw it to Lashley, like, oh, how's it feel to be on the other side here where you see all these Black champions? And like she was trying to get like some, you know, a good soundbite out of that. And Lashley kind of stopped it then and there. It was like, no, you need to stop that. You need to stop with the whole Black champions things. It's just champions here. I do appreciate Lashley doing that. And I feel like he like had that prepared and he was waiting for somebody to ask that question because Lashley feels like somebody who probably doesn't like all that the way that they kind of nitpick that between WWE and AEW. MVP, on the other hand, I have to admit, he is kind of throwing a little bit of fuel on the fire with some of the things that he said, with kind of the way that the Her Syndicate was treated in WWE. But I do like how Lashley kind of had his own take on it.
You got to know Lashley he's a military guy. They shoot stuff down fast.
Yeah.
You know what? He gonna nip it in the bud. You know what I'm saying? He ain't gonna let it roll with that. And I'm glad he did that though. So any other reporters that was gonna go that route in the future too, they'll know like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't, you know. So the questions become different now. So that's a very important thing.
So let's finish off on AEW before we move on to some WWE talk. But like, first of all, how have you been seeing this whole Death Riders angle and like them taking over the company? I don't think, me personally, it is what it was I expected it to be. Like when they first announced it, it was like some higher power that's controlling them. I feel like they kind of like stepped away from that, and now it's just like Moxley carrying a briefcase for some reason, and they don't even show the title. But like, I thought Darby was a chosen one; he could still be the chosen one. But now you have like all these other players in here. You got Jay White, and you got a Hangman Adam Page, and you got Christian with this contract. So it's like, are we gonna be going to Darby Allin at World's End, or are they kind of gonna swerve us a little bit and give us something else?
You know what? This whole Death Riders angle stuff it's too much sometimes. Like this whole like after the match beatdowns. Think about this though. Like a month ago, the championship was getting defended by Swerve going with Daniel Bryan in the main event. Bryan Danielson in the main event. And we're all knowing this is going to be a great match. Going into this Orange Cassidy thing, it's like, dude, we gave up all of that for this. And then this ending after the bell rung, and it's like, come on, dude. There's so much stuff going on. And Christian, with I completely forgot about this Money in the Bank contract he has. And I forget about the alliance with Hangman Page that he had. So I'm wondering, like, what is he doing? I'm like, who's gonna go for the pin right now? I would have been more satisfied with just someone winning after they brought that contract out. You know, like I didn't expect it to get stopped either. I don't know. Then you got Naked Pac running around. You got Claudio searching. You got Claudio searching for the keys on the valet car. It's just so much moving around. Darby crashing the car, getting out with a full gusher on the side of his forehead. It's just play the Benny Hill music, you know, from when the bell rings.
Yeah, no, I already saw the segment. They already saw the edit where they put the Benny Hill music to Ishii, Tomohiro Ishii chasing Chris Jericho up and through the arena. I forget
about that too. Gee,
oh, that match is tonight. Don't worry, you're gonna get your Jericho and Ishii. So an issue that I see with AEW, this has happened before in the past, especially with the All In All Out, is having too many big shows next to each other, or too many events happening next to each other. Because you have the Continental Classic, which starts today, and that's cool. But then, like, the finals of that is happening at World's End, which is on December 28th, which is just a couple days before the Max debut, which is going to be that Wednesday, the Fight for the Fallen show. And then a couple days after that, you have Wrestle Kingdom and Wrestle Dynasty, which AEW are both involved in. So you have, like, 4 pretty noteworthy big shows happening all back to back. And it makes me wonder, like, exactly what their plans are. Like, who's Moxley going to be feuding with? Who's going to be going after the title? Is anybody going to beat him for the title? Like, I really don't know. There's too many things going on. Which is like a main issue I have with AEW, and somebody who like is trying to get into the product, like my son, for example. It's really hard to kind of like get into it if you haven't been following every single thing from the get-go. It's like it's not a fresh product to jump into to get new fans. And I feel like a lot of fans who aren't like that hardcore and sickos, as they say, have dropped off, as you can see from the attendance and the viewership and just the overall feel and talk of AEW. Like, I went to AEW and the only people I knew there was Frank, Davey, and Braden. In the past, there would have been like 15, 20 of us deep, like people that I just know left and right going to the show. And I didn't have that this time around. And this is just 2 years coming off of the Full Gear 2022.
Yeah, it's I can't even get anyone to watch it with me anymore. I used to when it was fresh and hot and everybody wanted to see the new moves and characters and everything. I can get my cousins to come over and check out a pay-per-view. Now I can't even put in a Discord server for anybody to come watch. But I mean, I don't know. I think it's the amount of people they got that were familiar with people, and they're like, hey, they're over here now. And then they'll watch the product for a second and see how different it is. And they're so used to one thing, and they can't get down with something new. Everybody, you got to realize that the casuals are used to, they're creatures of habit. They only want to watch the one brand the one way it is. So when you watch a tag match and nobody's tagging, they're not going to want to watch this. My dad won't watch an AEW show anymore. Yeah. Like he will not. I got him to watch a couple, but no, I have it on the DVR for him and he will not check it out.
No,
So,
you're spot on. My son was, when he was in WWE, he was a huge fan of Ricochet. He used to love all his matches and whatnot. He couldn't care less about the match with Takeshita. Now, it wasn't a good match, so I give him credit on that one, but I try to kind of like, hey, what's going on? You're not into it? And he kind of gave me like the vibe of, it doesn't feel the same. This Ricochet doesn't feel the same. And I'm like, yeah. It unfortunately, that does happen. It's
an indie feel that, like, I think they got to realize that the indie style of wrestling is very niche. Yeah. That's why it's indie. You know what I'm saying? They got to realize that. So everyone's not going to like the popping up after one and stuff like that. Everyone's not going to dig it. Yeah. You know what I mean? The moves that should kill you, you're getting up. You know what I mean? Stuff like that and powering up. Casuals don't want that. They want you to take a pile driver off the top rope and get rolled in the ring and pinned. They don't want to watch you get up and have another 5-minute match after that. So that's kind of the main problem, but it's other things too. Like even it turned off the people who actually watch it. Like I won't watch a random Dynamite if I don't see the card. If I don't see the card first and the card doesn't look interesting, I'll just figure it out through John and Way. You know what I'm saying? That'd be the better way for me. Yeah, I feel like one of the reasons why they turned away so many fans is a lot of things they had promised or even had done in the beginning. They kind of stepped away from that. They're going a little bit more WWE route. They kind of stepped away a little bit from the sports presentation. We're obviously going to get that back with the Collision Continental Classic, but I feel like a lot of things like they kind of said they weren't going to do, they ended up doing anyway. Like I said, they're doing a lot more DQ finishes, I've noticed, which is something they didn't do at all in the first couple of years. Now I feel like almost every week we get either like a non-finish or a DQ finish or whatnot. I have to say, like the over-sexualization of women, like, okay, if it's their decision to do that, cool. But I know if the shoe was on the other foot and it happened in WWE, they get critiqued for everything, things like that. Whenever they did anything over-sexualize or, objectifying women or whatever. I mean, they're not objecting women in AEW, but still, like some of the segments they do with, Mina and Mariah just kind of shaking their tits, like, if that happened in WWE, like they get crucified, I feel like. And I feel like AEW is still getting a pass because it's AEW. But I feel like it's only gonna be so much longer until they stop getting passes. I mean, yeah, I'm a man with blood pumping through my body. But even when I'm watching that on my wrestling, it's like now that I'm 34 years old, it's like, come on, man. You know what I mean? Let's go. You girls gonna wrestle? You know what I mean? You get in the ring, but I get it. They gotta get the eyes on the brand. So I don't know, man. It's that part I never even really thought about because it was such a small part that the ladies still get such a small window on the show that by the end of the show, I don't even remember their segment anymore. Yeah, they still get like most likely like the shortest matches on the shows. And I know that for a fact because when I cover for Cage Match, if a match is under 5 minutes, it can't get rated. And I feel like every week the women's matches don't get rated. And I'm like, I wonder if that's by design or whatnot, because I feel like some of the women matches haven't been too highly praised. I mean, they changed that with Statlander and Mercedes. They killed it there. Willow's back. That's our girl right there. So we know she's going to be killing it. But I feel like for the most part, it's a lot of Harley Cameron, right? It's a lot of Anna Jay. It's a lot of Mina. It's a lot of Mariah. What's so bad, I don't know. What's up? The main women's belt is not even in the workers category right now. You know what I mean? Like you just named off the what's that? The TBS belt. The TBS title is the one that Mercedes has. That's what Mercedes has, right? Yeah. And we're not talking about that match from the pay-per-view. We're not talking about the main belt. We're talking about the TBS belt. You know what I'm saying? So what are we even promoting right now? The main belt wasn't even defended. It was part of a champagne celebration. Yeah, from her victory like a month ago. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. It's really tough for them because it's like I want to support the product. I'm not going to stop watching it. It's like I still love wrestling. I still love the talent that's there, but it just doesn't give me like that energy that we were so used to the first couple of years. Just be the wrestling show, man. That's my advice is just be the wrestling show that you promised to be. And keep moving because say your heavy hitters come back, Kenny Omega comes back. Where does he even fit in this fucking main event scene? That's another thing. He's coming back. What do you even have him do? He's coming back to wrestling after like having like a serious life-threatening injury, surgery and whatnot, and he's coming back to New Japan. He's not even going to AEW, which is kind of weird. Because where do you slot him in this madness that's going on as the AEW main event card?
I don't know. It's tough because you had the Young Bucks kind of walked away, right? They shredded documents and left. They said they quit. They're going to work from home. Sure.
Mhm.
You got Okada just kind of floating there. He's obviously going to be part of the Continental Classic.
He should be the driving force of it. It should
Yeah.
be he should be turning the Continental Classic into the G1.
Yeah, hopefully he does.
Yeah.
Jack Perry just lost his title, so who knows what's happening with him. So yeah, the Elite is kind of on an island of their own, I feel like. But you would think they'd be there fighting the company, right? Maybe they're going to be the ones that maybe Kenny Omega is going to come back and reunite the Elite, the Elite that we loved, and he's going to be the one that's going to fight Omega. But then it's like, okay, we're going to get Omega and Moxley again. Sure, I guess.
But I would rather have Omega Moxley in the more pro wrestling setting, than this sports entertainment mess that they got going on that is the Death Riders.
Yeah.
It's bad. He's criticizing the company and actually perpetuating the bullshit.
Oh, it's a shoot. He said in the interview, like, everything he's saying is the truth. So you mean to tell us that you think this company sucks?
I'm sure
that's what he says.
I'm sure he's not pulling the leg. He's shooting. But you contribute. You're the main one because the ending that if you thought the ending of that pay-per-view last week was good, you can't really throw the stones, bro.
The amount of people that I heard say that's it. Like the last image we saw was Jay White before they went to like the backstage stuff.
That's what I wanted to ask you too. Like, what did you see last? Like, who was anybody in the ring or?
The last thing we saw in the ring was Jay White, and then they cut to the screen where we saw the whole vehicular scene there with Darby Allin. And even that we were confused about, like, what's going on? Like, who's in the car? It was, yeah. But the whole like Jay White thing, and like, no offense to Jay White, but it's like this is how you end off the show, like in ring, was kind of a weird choice. I'm curious how many people like left the show. I had a couple. I legit swear to God, that sat next to me. They came there just to see the Big Boom AJ match. They paid like what $30, $40 for tickets. They saw the pre-show, they saw the match, they were excited. The crowd was crazy for that match. They got up and left right after that. And I'm like, I wonder how many people did that. How many people like spent like $30, $40? AEW tickets are cheap. I'll give them that much. Yeah. Somebody could have just, hey, you want to spend a Saturday night just watching the Rizzler, watching the Costco guys?
Big Boom AJ.
Yeah.
Money made WAW. That's a W for them.
And shout out to him for AJ for working with a broken foot. He broke his foot earlier in the day, and he went through the match. And I couldn't have told he's a worker. He's done this before. He's been working, so it shows.
He hasn't worked in 20 years, and he's sold tickets.
Yeah, they might bring him back. I wouldn't be surprised.
A lot more you can say for some people. He sold some tickets. That lady, they got up and left. Yeah. They bought a parking spot potentially. Something like that. They paid to get there.
We'll see him back. We're going to see Big Boom AJ versus Moxley at World's End for the AEW World Title at this rate.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Let's move on from AEW. I feel like I've talked too much AEW today. Let's move on to the World Wrestling of Entertainment, as they have a big pay-per-view this weekend with War Games, Survivor Series 2024 from Vancouver, British Columbia, in Canada. Yeah, what do you think so far of the hype going into this? We finally have a set card, I feel like.
Really? Do we have the full card right now?
I think we do. I'm going to go ahead and pull it up for you to view, but it looks like we do have a full card here. We have LA Knight versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the United States title. Nakamura's back here. He's back and he's bad with his new face paint, and he's looking to get that U.S. title.
He looks dope, too. I like it. You got Breaker, Sheamus, and Ludwig Kaiser for the Intercontinental title.
That should be good. I like the story of Sheamus. Like, the one title that he can't get is the IC title. I wouldn't put on him just per se, like just at this weekend, but... Keep it going. That should be like a WrestleMania crowning moment where you have Sheamus get the title. But I think this match is going to bang with those three for sure.
If they got any like European shows left, that's where you put the Intercontinental on Sheamus.
I like that.
Yeah,
like a PLE in the UK, maybe not. Yeah, okay.
If they're going across the pond one more time, you put it on Sheamus over there.
I like that. Gunther defends the World Heavyweight title against Damian Priest. I like the build for this. I like how they're kind of showing some vulnerability and weakness for Gunther, but I don't see Priest taking this title, but I think it's going to be a good match for both of them.
Absolutely not going to take the title from Gunther. No, he's going to definitely get the W.
And then
you think Kaiser helps, though? Because they've been going through some stuff.
Yeah, I feel like they keep going back and forth with that. Like 1 week,
like it.
Yeah, like 1 week he's kind of like yelling at Kaiser, and next week he's not. I don't know what's going on with that. I wouldn't break them up. I like them together.
You can't break them up. You already took Giovanni from him, which was stupid.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And then we go to the War Games matches. They both have had a lot of twists and turns. Is he going to join? Is she going to join? Who's going to replace him? This and that. As of right now, as we're standing for the Women's War Games match, we have the team of Candice LeRae, Liv Morgan, Nia Jax, Raquel Rodriguez, and Tiffany Stratton versus Bianca Belair, Io Sky, Naomi, Rhea Ripley, and the person who took the place of a one injured Jade Cargill, Bailey. So yeah, what did you think of that angle of so she's legit hurt. Jade is legit hurt. I'm not sure what the severance of her injury is, but she was written off. And the main question is who took her off, took her out TV. Is it Bailey? Did she do this to give herself a spot? Because I think that would be a little too predictable if it's Bailey.
Yeah, that'd be too predictable. But did she ever get took off? That the way she was laying on top of that car.
Yeah, it was like a video game like character. The way she,
it was like it was her action figure on that top of that car. It was rough. But I'm not sure. I hope it's not Bailey. I hope it's someone else. I'm not sure who it would be. But
Naomi, you think Naomi could be the one?
Ooh.
I did see a picture. It was a screenshot of Bailey hugging Naomi, and the way that Naomi gave the side eye to the camera. I was like, Naomi. I would like to see a heel Naomi, but
Naomi
I feel like
join the bloodline.
Yeah. Ooh, I like
no.
Which bloodline though?
Ooh, yeah.
I guess the one with her husband makes more sense, right?
Yeah, they're baby faces though. Tough.
But
tough.
One of them.
I've been saying for months now. Nia Jax should join the new bloodline.
Yeah.
She should be running the new bloodline. She should take Solo spot. She should have the Ulafala. Who's gonna take it from her? Anyway.
But let's talk about the bloodline here as we have the main event. Bloodline versus Bloodline. We have the new bloodline of Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, Tongaloa, Jacob Fatu, and Bronson Reed joining them against the OG bloodline of Roman Reigns, Jimmy and Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, and the fifth member, CM Punk, who joined on this past episode of SmackDown. What do you think of first of all, CM Punk joining the bloodline and the Paul Heyman alliance, and who's gonna win? Which bloodline is gonna take it?
I think the new bloodline has to win this one. They have to.
Yeah.
They still gotta look strong. They can't take an L right now. And I think I'm not sure who takes the L on the OG bloodline team. It either has to be one of the Usos or Punk, right?
I think so. Yeah, that would make more sense. I feel like we're not done with the twists and turns. We're talking about Naomi possibly joining one of the bloodlines. I could see maybe like Jimmy Uso not sticking with this OG bloodline and kind of turning on him. Maybe him. Is he the one that's married to Naomi? Is Jimmy, right? So I can see Jimmy turning on the OG bloodline and him and Naomi together join the new bloodline. Yeah. I
still like later on down the line that the other bloodline turns on Solo and either Jacob Fatu or Nia Jax takes over. But I don't know. The bloodline storyline is still good for me. I'm especially going into this War Games. War Games. It makes sense. And I think next year we don't need a War Games.
Okay.
You know, I don't think we need to keep re-rocking it.
You don't have to do it every year. Only do it when it makes sense.
Yeah, this would be 3 in a row. Next year we don't need a War Games. We need to go back traditional one more time, give everybody that feel one more time, and then we can bounce back and forth. But yeah, I'm digging this. But I think the new bloodline has to win. They have to. Jacob Fatu, big splash off the top of the cage.
Yeah. I see that. And then you can kind of like further progress any beef between Roman Reigns and CM Punk. You had that stare down at the end of a SmackDown between them two.
One more question. Do the GOD wear the face paint?
It makes sense for War Games, right? Yeah.
Right?
Give them a little bit.
They need to wear the face paint.
But then it's like all 5 of them have to wear a face paint, right? You can't just have them.
I mean, they can wear their like parts of it. These guys can be full ghost out, but Solo can have the Umaga paint, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you got to be matching. Remember when was it Roderick Strong teamed up with the Authors of Pain and he had the whole get up and everything? You got to be matching with your team. You got to be matching with your team. But like
Kurt Angle's son when Kurt Angle was.
They should have Jacob Fatu should do like the Umaga like face paint, like that style.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm looking. Usos should go back to the halves.
Okay. Yeah. Everybody has their own, and then CM Punk has, I don't know, the Chicago flag or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but Punk, he's such a like old school WCW mark that he'll probably go Sting like war paint. Remember when Sting had the green paint over his face?
He did that. Didn't he team up with Sting in AEW? It was him, Darby. I feel like CM Punk had face paint.
Was
in
he
AEW.
in that? Was he in that?
I feel like he must have. I feel like he. I'm gonna look it up really quick. I feel like he had face paint at one point.
He had face paint. He did have face paint, but he didn't do. I'm talking about the old when Sting was in War Games back in the day, and I forget who he's on team with, but he had like the war paint, and it was like you know, it was still white hair thing. It was still
Yeah.
short fades thing, flat top service thing. But yeah, I think Punk could do something like that. Or he'll go, yeah.
Yeah, we
I think he'll go paint again.
There we go. We had the CM Punk face paint. Yeah.
No, but Punk with tribal paint? No.
Nah, I don't think that would work.
Paint, that'd be funny. That Sammy with tribal paint would be funny.
Oh yeah, yeah. Sammy would make
that'd
sense.
be even funnier. That'd be.
I'll be honest with you. Like, I love the way they set up this whole CM Punk thing because you had the segment in the ring with him and Paul Heyman weeks ago, where Paul Heyman was like pleading for help and whatnot, and you kind of nothing ever happened with that, and Heyman disappeared. He got taken out. He disappeared. So it makes perfect sense. I was watching that SmackDown with Fire Frank. We're at the hotel actually watching it, and the whole time I'm like, please don't be Brock. Please don't be Brock. Please don't be Brock. I thought it was gonna be Brock Lesnar. A little part of me was like, oh, it's gonna be Brock, isn't it? Because that makes sense with Heyman. But I was so relieved and happy when CM Punk came out and said,
yeah, I knew it wasn't Brock. They're not that crazy. Not now. No, we got too much heat coming down now. We can't put Brock out there on TV. No. Now that guitar riff I would have probably had to get some new pants if I would have heard that. But yeah, I'm glad it wasn't.
What else happened in the wrestling world? The only other thing I could think of is they set up this Cody Rhodes Kevin Owens storyline. They're gonna have their match at Saturday night's main event on the 14th of December.
Pretty good.
So I'm looking forward to that. I've been liking this build. I like how they took out Randy Orton with the pile driver. He needs to come back and do the punt, right? That's everybody saying that. I feel that needs to be the thing. You might see him at Saturday night's main event. But yeah, other than Cody and Kevin, anything else that's been standing out to you? And not only WWE, but anything wrestling.
You know, just we already kind of went over everything. You hear my takes about NXT on this week's show. Yeah, wrestling's just it's been good, man. WWE's been pretty decent on a week-to-week basis. They got their ebbs and flows like always, but that's every show on a week-to-week basis. Yeah, it's just been cool, man. I've been digging everything. I've been trying to get to more live shows. I'm debating on going to the Rumble.
Ooh, Indianapolis?
Okay. Yeah, I've never been, and it's not that far.
Okay.
So, yeah.
What's there to do in Indianapolis besides the only thing I know about is what the Indy 500? What else is there to do there?
See the track. I would want to see the track. And probably Michael Jackson's house. That's probably it.
Ooh, okay.
That's literally it.
I wonder if GCW is going to try to run a show that weekend and have Santana Jackson wrestling in front of Michael Jackson's house.
They better. They what?
Yeah. Speaking of live shows, there's a lot of shows. I feel like the holiday season is supposed to be like chill and relax. It's the opposite for wrestling because you have like Survivor Series this weekend. Next weekend you have NXT Deadline. Then you have Saturday night's main event. You got the AEW shows at the Hammerstein. Yeah. There's like crazy shows, House of Glory, MLW, like you name it. There's so many shows happening in the next like month or so. So at least
the year, man.
Yeah. It's they got to make that money for the holiday season. But I think that's enough of wrestling. I think let's get into the meat of the discussion today with Mr. Kendrick Lamar.
Say now.
So where were you when you found out about this? Because I didn't know that there was like a teaser video that dropped like 30 minutes before the album dropped. I didn't even know it. I went back and listened to it after the fact, and it's not even the song that's on the album. I don't know what the song is. And Kendrick is always dropping Easter eggs. But yeah, he dropped like this video that teased this GNX album that came out like 30 minutes later.
Yeah, actually, I just got let go from work early, so that was a good thing. And I'm pulling into the dispensary parking lot, and I seen you like Kendrick album. No, I think it was Brandon. He said like Kendrick album drop. I'm like, what are you talking about? So as soon as I go to it, I'm in the car instantly. Like, yeah, let's go right now. Let's go right now. I pulled into the parking lot. I sat in there and listened to the first 3 songs. I couldn't even get out the car. And I was like, all right, I gotta come back. I gotta go back. I'm at the right place right now. Man. You know what I like about this album? Let's just get right into the album. Track 1.
Whacked Out Murals.
The fact that it actually happened and he made a song about it. And it's like his mission statement for the album. You know what I mean? It's not really no crazy bars. He's addressing everything up front in this one song, and it's one verse and he's just going off. That's what I gotta I try to explain to people, like, yeah, like once you hear the first song, you don't know like his vibe, like he don't care. And he kicked up a little dust with this because he got a bar about Lil Wayne, he got a small bar about Snoop Dogg too.
Yep.
How do you feel about the Lil Wayne getting up in his feelings about the bars. What do you feel about this?
Yeah, and Lil Wayne himself, he has a response to this as well. So pretty much what happened was Kendrick was announced for the Super Bowl, right?
Mhm.
And then Lil Wayne took offense to this because it's in New Orleans, his hometown, and he wasn't invited. So he wasn't really a diss from Kendrick, but he's pretty much saying how he let Lil Wayne down. You know, he's listened to Carter 3 and whatnot, and now he let him down. But what did Kendrick do that was wrong? Is he supposed to? I don't think it's up to him who he can invite. I'm sure he has some say in it, but
Right.
I don't think he. I don't know. It's tricky because he loves Wayne. Obviously, it's one of his favorite rappers, as a lot of us appreciate Wayne. But Wayne took offense to it, and he had to address it one way or another. But I don't think he took any shots at Lil Wayne, because Lil Wayne was like, his tweet was like a response to, woke up and heard this bullshit. It's like, I don't think he was really like saying anything negative about Lil Wayne. He was just addressing the whole situation.
Yeah, the thing is, like, and that's why I even liked Kendrick more back then, when I found out like how much he liked Lil Wayne. And I'm a Lil Wayne fan. I'm a diehard Lil Wayne fan. I listen to everything. Most of the stuff that I know people don't listen to of Lil Wayne that I listen to. But like I said, that was kind of a more thing. That's why I kind of relate to him more. And the fact that I understand what he's saying, that I used to, the bars he said in the song was, I used to bump the Carter 3 and hold my rolly chain proud. The irony, I think my hard work let Lil Wayne down. So that's all he said. That's all he said about Lil Wayne, right? Now in there, I don't understand where he gets the diss from, but I feel like it's just people gassing him. You know what I'm saying? Because how could you, if you could listen to that by yourself and think that he's dissing you, instead of like kind of showing you respect and saying like, my hard work let Lil Wayne down, knowing that you know that I have the respect for you as an artist, that he's basically just saying that I worked hard to get to this position and you're upset that I got to that position. I worked hard. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, what did he do? He just got the invitation. He didn't do anything wrong. So I don't know. And then Lil Wayne was on his Louisiana stage, I guess, and he was saying that like it was ripped from me and stuff. It's like, no one ever told you that you had this. No one ever said, Lil Wayne, this is yours. You were going to perform at the Super Bowl this year. No one ever told him that. So how could he sit there and be like just playing the victim so hard, to saying that this is ripped from me and they stole this, and like to say this man don't deserve it? Like I don't understand. So him being mad about that little bar, I don't know. And supposedly he does have a response, like you said. Supposedly, I'm waiting to hear it. You know what I mean? I'm waiting to see if Kendrick even cares. You know what I'm saying? I don't think so. Do you think he will respond to Lil Wayne if he
I think he has to, because like the year he's been having, I feel like if anybody comes at Kendrick at this point, he has to respond back to him. But I feel like he's not going to get to the levels of Drake. He's not going to want to. Yeah, he's not going to want to. But if he has to, if his hand is forced, he kind of has to. Somebody else who took a little bit of a shot here. I feel it was more of a lighthearted one. He says, Snoop posted Tailor Made, which is the AI generated song that Drake made with Tupac. Yeah. I prayed it was the edibles. I couldn't believe it. It was only right for me to let it go. Won the Super Bowl, and Nas the only one congratulate me. Mm-hmm. So that's a couple lines there. So the Snoop Dogg line, I think Snoop even admitted it. He's like, yeah, I was on edibles. So, but it's funny that he had to address that. But the line that really stood out to me was that, he got the Super Bowl spot, and the only person that congratulated him was Nas. Now, something I want to talk about that I think is something to really think about with this album is not that it's a shot at the West Coast, but I feel like he's letting people know that like the West Coast doesn't fully have his back as far as artists goes. And I have a theory for that. But the fact that he named one East Coast artist, one of the most well-known East Coast artists, being the only one to congratulate him over some top West Coast names that, you could just name them down. But the fact that this album came out the same day as Ice Cube's new album, and I'm not sure what the context of it was, but I know Ice Cube said a comment, something along the lines of, I was Kendrick before Kendrick. Yeah. And I could see maybe Kendrick taking a little bit of offense to that, to mysteriously drop this surprise album the same day as Ice Cube. And I'm sorry, I don't hear anybody talking about Ice Cube's album. Everybody's talking about Kendrick's album. But do you see anything more to that, of like maybe him kind of like taking the throne from the West Coast in a way?
I feel like, no, I don't feel like it's like the West Coast. I feel like Kendrick is going at legends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He looks at Lil Wayne as a legend. He looks at Snoop Dogg as a legend. He looks at Ice Cube as a legend. And he's kind of letting them know, like, I don't care anymore. Because everybody else has been not caring about these legends and how they feel about them. But Kendrick was one of these young guys who were like holding up the art that is hip hop, you know what I mean, into the truest form. And the legends kind of sided with the guys who really don't care about it. And so I feel like Kendrick has had enough about, you know, trying to stick up for this thing that he held so hard. Now he's like, I'm just gonna take it over and make them respect it again. And that's what I think the angle is with him right now in this whole album, because it's the most West Coast album I ever heard for like a major artist to do.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't dare see this many people trying to crip walk.
And that's
You know what I'm
that's like
saying?
one of the, I haven't seen too much like negativity in this album, but the little that I have said was the fact that it's too regional, right? It's too West Coast.
Oh, it's so
Has
West
too many
Coast.
unknown artists, too many
Yeah.
West Coast sounding songs. I love it. And I'm not the biggest West Coast fan. Obviously, I'm diehard East Coast all day, every day when it was a Tupac Biggie feud. But I still
Mhm.
listen to the West Coast. I still listen to, you know, I was trying to, you know, broaden my horizons and listen to artists like E40 and Too Short and whatnot. Snoop Dogg, obviously Dre and all them. So I love this album. I love like the way it bops, and we'll get into some of the other songs. But I kind of want to go back and two questions. So number one, what do you think of the title of the album? Because I didn't realize what it was. I knew it was a car, but I didn't know the significance of it. And it was basically a 1987 Grand National, which he mentions. All I wanted was a Grand National. And it came out the same year that he was born in 87. And it was the same model that his father used to take him home from the hospital following his birth. So he went ahead and bought this car years later when he obviously had the funds to do so. So he bought back the car that was born the same day as his. So I love that. I love the story of it, because at first I was like, what the hell is GNX? Like, what does it stand for?
Yeah,
And-
it's the last production vehicle to come off the original GM line too. So and it was faster than the Ferrari at the time.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it did like I forgot what the 0 to 60 was. It was the top notch, top of the line. But to be honest, everybody, if you like classic muscle cars, I love Grand Nationals. I love them, but I'm not that specific into one the GNX, the 87 GNX. But it's like, man, I love that car. That and the Monte Carlo that Denzel had on Training Day, the two best old school cars in my opinion. And the fact that he did it like this, he's made that car so iconic now that I've seen guys on TikTok, like car guys on TikTok, talking about the price of Grand Nationals now, like skyrocketing.
Wow.
Like, and it's like, even they send the bodies, even the rusted out bodies that doesn't work, prices are going up right now because everybody wants a Grand National right now. He's
Smart.
really shifting culture and everything in every form right now. Like that's crazy.
So
it's a beautiful car.
The reviews of the album, like I said, have been pretty positive. It's along the lines of like 9, 10, not like a perfect album, but like pretty much like up there. You have like Rolling Stone gave it 4 out of 5. You have The Guardian 4 out of 5. The only negative survey I see here, a negative review, is from Pitchfork, who gave it a 6.6. But Pitchfork is the same establishment that rated the Ice Spice album like an 8 out of 10. So I can't take their criticism. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Pitchfork
Ice Spice album was like 10 minutes long.
Do you
literally 10 minutes long?
Do you consider this an album? Because some people have stated this feels more like a mixtape and it's just a precursor to an actual album. I feel like he's going to drop the actual album right after the Super Bowl.
He's got more. He's got another album coming. I feel like, but this is an album. This is just like how, remember when he did Untitled?
Yes.
I feel like this is in the same realm as that, but it's just got some bangers on it, and we've been waiting on it. That's the Squabble Up snippet that was circling the entire rest of the summer.
I was so happy
when he dropped he dropped what? Not Like Us in May.
Yeah.
Right.
And the intro to that was the first like couple seconds of Squabble Up, and everybody was dissecting it. What's he talking about? Broccoli here? What's that? What's that Debbie Deb sample? Like people were analyzing it, and I'm so happy when I heard that song play and I knew exactly what it was. I was so happy that
didn't make us wait. People was like, "Oh, he ain't gonna drop that song. It's gonna be one of them songs he never drop." You're like, "No, it slaps." So here y'all go.
Since the album dropped, I've listened to it fully from front to back at least like a dozen times or so, but there's 3 songs that I've been playing every single day to get my day started. Not saying they're the best songs, but they're the songs that get me the most energized and into the mode, and that's Squabble Up, Hey Now, and TV Off. Those 3 songs are probably my favorite, just because like the balance and the bass and everything about those songs is so freaking good. And like I said, it's very West Coast sounding, but I still highly enjoy it. Like those to me are like perfect songs.
I think my favorite, I got 4 actually because I gotta play them. Man in the Garden. I've been listening to that on the way to work every morning now. So like, and just playing it on repeat. It's a beautiful song, and it's once again talking about everything, like everyone doubting him and saying like he's not worthy of this. And this is like, what are y'all talking about? Like, have I not been the king this whole time? Am I blind? But yeah, that song is beautiful.
And that's like a recreation of One Mic. I mean, he had the shout out to Nas in the first track, but if you listen to Man at the Garden and One Mic, like the bass and like everything about it is like pretty much a recreation of it. But instead of saying all I need is one mic, he's saying like I deserve it all. Like he pretty much changed the words, but it's almost like beat by beat the same type of song.
It's One Mic. I seen someone dissect this. It's One Mic and In the Air Tonight.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Phil Collins. I can see that. Yeah.
So it's the same. If you take the same drum pattern, it's the same pattern because they both had the same pattern but different drums.
Right.
Kendrick got both of them in the same song and he put them together. And I'm like, yeah, this is one. The production on this album is top tier. It's ridiculous. Everybody did their thing. But Man in the Garden, Squabble Up, of course, Hey Now, and what's the other one? I'm sorry. And Hard Part 6. Hard Part 6,
yeah.
Yeah. Hard Part 6 is the beat is crazy too. But I'm getting, you know what's crazy? Everyone thought Squabble Up was gonna like take over the charts right now, but Luther is doing better than Squabble Up in the charts.
Really? You think it's because of
people are loving that SZA
the SZA feature?
People are loving that. That's a great song too. And it's short.
So maybe explain, I know a little bit of it, but maybe explain to me and the listeners, what's the connection between SZA and Drake and Kendrick? Because SZA used to date Drake, right?
No, they were working on music.
They're working on music together. Okay. So then they're actually together. Okay.
And I think she was the mo this whole time, dude. I think she was the mo this whole time. I think so. Think about it. They do the magazine interview together like a month ago, and then they dropped this collab after all of this chaos came out. Like, I think she was the mo the whole time because she was with Drake for a good part of like last year, her and Sexy Red, you know, the whole time with Sexy Red, she was with them the whole, like partying with them the whole time. And then all this pops off.
So we're gonna play a little bit of Squabble Up because the video that just came out a couple days ago, and I feel like we're gonna get a video for almost every song on this album at this rate. But we're gonna play a little bit of the video here because I think we need to discuss this video because speaking of Easter eggs and Kendrick loving them, there's definitely a bunch in this song. So let's play a little bit of Squabble Up here.
Now, if you're checking out the video portion of this podcast, ladies and gentlemen, there'll be a little bit of squabbling up going on right now.
Reincarnated, I was stargazing. Life goes on, honey, and hug my babies. Woke up.
I'm gonna drop the volume a little bit, you know. Kendrick Lamar is wearing a pair of blue Nike Shox, same color as the what's that? Dodger blue.
Yep, Dodger blue and
ties to the music video.
Yeah. Los Angeles Dodgers, your World Series champions. Sorry, Frank.
Yeah. I forget the designer who makes his belts, but they've been making a lot of them since the beef even started.
Yeah, when I saw that and like the cover of the album, I'm like, is that like a championship title? Like, what is he wearing there?
It's a designer from LA. He makes all those like funky belts like that. It's really dope with it too. Like these are all like all his people, and that like I seen people making connections to that flag. And that being the same flag that was in the profile picture of Ebony 24 from Twitter.
Oh my God. Yes. And
it's so many Easter eggs.
Anybody watching the video, Kendrick is reading a book that says How to Be More Like Kendrick for Dummies, which I thought was hilarious here.
Yeah, he's this video is just full of so many like small Easter eggs, and I think everything means everything. Because nothing means nothing in the Kendrick video. The design was actually, I thought it was it looks like a painting, but it's actually inspired by a Roots video.
The Roots, things fall up. Yeah, I forgot the name of the song, but there was a video that they literally had the same background and everything. Yeah. So it's not just a West Coast. There's a lot of West Coast tributes, but there's some to just like hip hop in general. We have here in the background, we have the famous album cover from Ice-T with the girl with the shotgun. Yep. We have the Love Hate here. It's a shout out to Radio Raheem and Do the Right Thing. So there's a lot of like little references here and there. I don't know what the guy getting knocked out and then the guy that knocked him out gets knocked out by a girl. I'm not sure what that's supposed to reference.
Just a squabble. Just a squabble. You know what I'm saying? They got classic club pictures right here going on. Just a good squabble. You got to show a squabble. You know what I'm saying? We got some poppers right here, popping, locking.
Yeah. Kendrick
got a visual. Very LA culture in this so much. A terribly trained Pitbull. We got a guy portraying
Isaac
Hayes, Black Moses album cover, which I don't know the significance of that. I don't know if he's going to be sampling out of Isaac lately, but
it could be like So this right here, so I was breaking this down like it was freaking, I don't know, like ever since WandaVision, I've been breaking down everything, and then Kendrick made it even better with hip hop. But I'm over here looking at this like Soul Train Scrabble, where I know what the reference to it. Obviously on Soul Train they would dance, try to figure out the words and everything. But me, I'm thinking this is like he's trying to like, you know, reveal the release date for his next album or whatnot. But you came and told me that it was actually based on a Latin phrase.
Yeah, I'd seen someone break it down on TikTok once again, because TikTok unveils everything. The detectives on that good website. It was Onia est liquid, and it means everything is something in Latin. I hope I said that right, but either way it goes, it means everything is something in Latin, and that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense because you got so many small Easter eggs in this video. Like, we don't know the significance of everything, but it's a lot. You know, it's a whole lot.
And just like,
but it's a great video though.
It's a great video. Just like Kendrick's just like expressions is just being kind of like so nonchalant about it. There's one line, I forgot what he says, but he like kind of like rolls his eyes and doesn't even say the line. And it's like little things like that just make it so freaking cool. Like it's weird because I haven't been like so infatuated with a rapper in a long time, but like the way that Kendrick does things, it really makes me like excited to listen to hip hop because it's not just a song. You're breaking down like the entire culture. You're breaking down every word he's saying, everything he's doing in the videos and the songs. And it just makes it exciting to me. So whenever he drops anything, I have my full like attention to it. Like when the album came out, I didn't even want to listen to it because I knew I wasn't going to have time to dissect it properly. It was like, it came out like right before my son came out of school. I'm like, I can't listen to this yet. I had to like set aside some time and actually listen to it from front to back. And I'm very happy I did because there was so much to break down from this album. So what do you think is going to be the next thing? You think Luther? You said Luther is the one that's getting the most playtime right now. I feel like TV Off sounds like Not Like Us Part 2. Like everything about like that song.
TV Off was the song you got because Not Like Us wasn't on the album. So here you go with that. And he knew what he was doing by screaming mustard on the beginning of the second. He knew what he was doing because honestly, he has so many sounds trending on TikTok right now. It's ridiculous. Every song from this album is charting right now, but Luther is taking the charge. But I think SZA is that bump on Luther. Everything else has rappers, local LA rappers that a lot of people haven't heard of.
Yeah,
but to be honest, I don't mind it at all. Like the song that we both like, Hey Now, because the bass line on Hey Now.
Oh, it's amazing.
People, if you want to listen to this song, make sure your speakers are secure. All right. Make sure you don't have no air wafting through your speakers because it's gonna blow them. If they're right before getting blown, if you listen to Hey Now on full blast, goodbye speakers, because I tell you, my car was clipping so hard when I turned this up, and because I had to hear it. I'm like, this sound like it's gonna slap. So I turned it. I'm like, oh my god, I gotta get home and put it on the surround sound. I got it. It's, man, once you hear it, once I get chunky bass lines like that, man, it's like I gotta listen to this song every day. I have to listen to it every day now for like a month. But it's one of them, man. And the guy Dodie 6, I think
Dodie
his name
6,
is.
yeah.
Slides on the beat. I really like the way he, you know what I'm saying, handled that. And him and Kendrick with the back and forth flow. Oh,
and it's like, I usually don't like styles like that, but the way he comes in and talk about Joker and Harley Quinn, and just like you said, Kendrick kind of like backs them up and everything. It was done like to perfection. I don't know who this dude is. Supposedly he's like locked up and like somehow he dropped a. I don't like. I kind of like the whole mystery of it. Like, kind of going back to like other songs, but like, you know, the song Rap Snitches. We'll talk about Snitches later on. There's a feature on there called Mr. Fantastic, who has like the first verse in that song. As far as I know, nobody has any information on this dude. Nobody knows who he is. All he knows is a dude named Mr. Fantastic that had one feature on an MF Doom song. It's obviously Dr. Doom and Mr. Fantastic, and then just disappeared. And I kind of like that. I like the whole mystery of people popping in, doing a 16 bars and leaving, and nobody knows any information about that. Like, to me, that's the best part.
Crazy? I've been a Doom fan for a number of years, and you know, I think about it. I think I've seen everybody in that like gaggle of rappers, but I've never in my life even thought about anybody saying they seen Mr. Fantastic.
No,
now that you just said that, it just popped up in my head, and his verse is so crazy. When I tell people about Doom, I make them listen to that and be like, oh yeah, but listen to Mr. Fantastic. He's crazy. But
I feel like it might be the same thing here with Dodie 6. We might never hear from him ever again. And like, who's that dude that showed up on that Kendrick song?
I like when, you know what's crazy too? A lot of these West Coast rappers that he used on this album all have like these voice inflex things that they do. Like all of them do.
Yeah.
Like even on Hey Now, like Dodie, his style is like lazy, but it's like it picks up and he can go with the beat too. Like when Kendrick comes in, like shit gets spooky every day in October. I'm like, that was a shot.
Yes,
that was a shot. Yes. But he was Dodie him with the back and forth because their voices was going crazy. And it's I don't know. It's another song. I forget what song it is exactly, but it's a guy who comes on and he has the laziest flow. But
I think you're talking about Peekaboo. Either Peekaboo or
I
Dodger
think it
Blue
is
has a couple
Peekaboo.
feature. Yeah.
The laziest flow. Perfect.
I'll be honest. When I first heard Peekaboo, I'm like, oh, this is the song I don't like. Like I don't like it. But it grew on me. It grew on me. It's so stupid with the Peekaboo, and then like, okay, what does he say? He's not even rapping. He's just like saying random words, and that's the one song that I'm like, okay, maybe this is not a total banger, but it grew on me. I will admit, it did grow on me for sure. One thing I want to talk about is
what they talking about. They ain't talking about no. What they talking
yes,
about.
that one.
It's a sound on TikTok now, and people
Really?
are already using that because it's the holidays and stuff, and it's like, dude, if he gets enough sounds, this whole album is going to chart for months and months. Like
the amount of mustard memes I saw, like
I haven't been this excited for an album. Now, don't get me wrong. Tyler just dropped the album. Tyler the Creator just dropped the album. Great album. Great. He's a great artist. Someone called him hip hop's new Prince.
Interesting.
Right.
Okay.
I was like, yeah, because they were saying like the control he has over his music, his visuals, he plays all his instruments and he does all the production sequence and everything. I'm like, okay, I give him that. Then what the hell is Kendrick right now? What are we comparing him to? Because I know he has 100% control over everything he's doing right now. He's getting input from Dave Free and a couple other people on his design team and PG Lang, but it's like he's ultimately the main guy.
Yeah,
honestly,
if Tyler is Prince, only person I can think for Kendrick, we mentioned him before in the video, Isaac Hayes. Isaac Hayes is some crazy off the wall creative stuff. Like he might be the Isaac Hayes. It's a really, really big thing to give him that title, but that's the only person I can think of that even comes close is Isaac Hayes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Speaking of Isaac Hayes and Isaac Hayes was in some far out stuff. He was into Scientology and that's some different teachings, and Kendrick ended up talking about some different type of teachings in the song Reincarnated. He's talking about some kind of therapy that he can, it's like I think I heard someone say it's like a monk like trance to get into to do this kind of therapy that he was speaking about in this song. Well, he's completely rapping on the Tupac beat that they remade a couple of times, like through the third verse. It was not the complete Tupac beat.
Yeah.
But man, when I first heard that drop and it went, and I was like, oh my God. And I knew he was about to start rapping like Pac, but I didn't know he was going to take us on a whole journey and him being reincarnated as these black figures in time. Like that was a different take for him to do on this album fresh off of a beef. Like I didn't expect that, but he took us there and he put us right back in the fact. It's like, dude, you want to do AI Tupac? I'm gonna just be Tupac. I'm gonna just be Pac.
And he kept bringing up the theme of reincarnated. He says in the beginning of Squabble Up, right? Reincarnated. Like there was like a recurring theme. So when you actually get to the song Reincarnated, you actually hear it and you hear the Tupac beat and you're like, oh my God, this is crazy. Now, I'm not sure who you have heard. I've heard different theories on who he's talking about with the verses. For the first verse, I've heard both Quincy Jones and Jimi Hendrix. And then for the second verse, I heard that it could be the perspective of Billie Holiday. Now, some people have like conflicted reports, or it can't be him. It can't be Jimi Hendrix because of the year. Because he mentions like living in Michigan in 1947, if I'm not mistaken. So there's been some kind of theories on who he's actually talking about. I'm not sure if it's been like debunked or proven who exactly he's talking about. But the third verse is him talking to himself. But the first two verses, he's in the perspective of, I guess we could just say like older black singers and from back in the day, basically.
I think I did hear the Billie Holiday rumor in this like second verse, because he says like I'm a black woman in the chilling circuit.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think he was talking Billie Holiday, but the first verse no one really knew, because they put the timelines together and they were saying like the year he said, it's like, yeah, it doesn't really match up with that. So it's like, I don't know. Who he's talking about, it doesn't matter. The song is great. The song is amazing. The third verse when he's talking to himself and about himself is even better, because it's I feel like the first verse before he starts to talk about being reincarnated, he's already reincarnated as Tupac. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah.
And then he goes into all the other lives that he's jumping into.
like the third verse even gave me vibes of like DMX. Like, you know, when DMX used to talk to himself, I'm like,
There
is,
you
I'm
go.
like, is X talking to him? Like, because you know,
Mhm.
obviously X and Tupac had a lot of comparisons as well. So I'm like, there's so many layers to this. Another person I heard that the first verse could have been based on is John Lee Hooker, who was another singer
Okay.
from back in the day. So that could be
Yeah.
somebody else. But yeah, and before I forget, the Spanish vocalist that we hear on a couple of these tracks, do you know the story behind this? Like, what happened with this?
Dude, I was just about to mention that. I was just about to mention that. Yeah, I was going to shout her out for sure.
Yeah, so she's a 49-year-old mariachi singer named Dara Barrera that he like heard singing at a baseball game, if I'm not mistaken, and he heard her
at the opening game of the World Series.
and he's like, I need to have her. And then she just randomly pops up in like 3-4 tracks in his album, and you're like, it does not fit the song at all. Like, she's singing at the beginning of Reincarnated. It doesn't make any sense. The beginning of Whacked Out Murals and a couple other songs, but it just kind of sets the tone of like the whole. This whole project has a very eerie feel to it, and just having like this mariachi singer just singing random things about like reflections. I've been trying to break it down to words of what she's talking about, but it just gives it a more surreal feeling overall. And I love it. I love the fact that he just threw on a random mariachi singer. Why not?
Yeah. See, the fact that it's a 12-song album and Reincarnated is like the 6th song, right?
Yeah.
I feel like she's bringing in the acts of the album.
Okay.
You know,
Yep.
like if the act 1 was her bringing in act 1 and she comes in at the beginning of Whacked Out Murals, and then act 2 is Reincarnated, and at the end she does something on the very last song, Gloria. So it's like, yeah, she's narrating the album.
Okay.
almost. So
Oh,
yeah,
I like
but
that. I like
her
that.
voice is so powerful, like you said. Like it is, she sounds great. She sounds great. I followed her on TikTok because she's so cool too. Like
I'll be on the zone listening to the album, and it'll be a song that was like TV Now or whatever, and I'm just so in the zone, and then just goes to the next track, and you just hear her powerful voice, and you're just like,
yeah,
you get like literal goosebumps, and like you hit it right on the head, like it's like a narration, like you're like literally working your way through a movie, and you hear like this narration kind of breaking it apart. The samples on this album in general are amazing. We already talked about Squabble Up having the Debbie Dev sample. When I hear music, which you wouldn't think would fit in a rap song, but he was able to just skate on the beat like it was nothing. You had the Luther Vandross song sample on Luther, obviously, where he took the Marvin Gaye song, If This World Were Mine. You had the Nas reinterpretation as well as Phil Collins for Man at the Garden. You had the Tupac sample Reincarnated.
Yep.
Well, my favorite one is TV Off, because not only do you have like elements of MacArthur Park being kind of split and chopped up in the beat itself, but when you get the actual beat change, it's the most random sample ever. It's a 1979 flop of a Disney movie called The Black Hole. It was basically like their answer to Star Wars that did nothing. Nobody probably remembers anything from this movie. They took the overture of that song and flipped it. And when you hear the beat change and you hear this triumphant horns coming in and you hear the mustard and the beat drops and turn the TV off, everything about that song is amazing. And I love when they use samples that nobody would think of. Me, when I used to do music and production, I was always trying to like pick the most obscure samples. And that's something I would probably like try to use, would be like the Black Hole from Disney or whatnot. I love that. I love the SWE sample on Hard Part 6.
Oh my God, yes.
Drake can fuck off with his Hard Part 6. Is the real Hard Part 6. And when I heard the SWV, which I didn't realize the Neptunes produced that song.
They wrote it. I had no idea.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. Not only they produced it, they wrote it.
They wrote the song. Shout out to Pharrell. I just saw his Lego movie. Definitely recommend it. Check it out.
God.
But yeah, after seeing that,
amazing movie.
Yeah. After hearing about that, I was like, wow, this is great. But yeah, all the samples on here are amazing. Even like the Peekaboo sample is like an old Willie Hale sample that's chopped up. Everything about this album just hit, man. Like I said, I love TV Off. Like I said, there's not really any song I hate. Like Peekaboo, it grew on me a little bit, but it's to the point where I can listen to it. I can listen to it fully now. The SZA features, although, are I think probably the best features on the album. She was on both Luther and Gloria, and I feel like both of those can be singles.
Absolutely. I think Luther is going to get pushed after either he picks TV Off or Squabble Up. Whatever he performs at the because Squabble Up is the single right now because he made a video for it. Whatever he performs at the Super Bowl is going to be number 2. Or he will already push Luther before that. But doesn't matter because he probably dropped another album in between that. Or if he got to respond to Lil Wayne, which I don't think Lil Wayne's going to do anything.
So have a theory. So since Nas was the only one that congratulated him on the Super Bowl, what if he does parts of the song, he does Man at the Garden, and it kind of flips into one mic, and there is Mr. Nasir Jones do his verse? I think we might see that. We might see a Kendrick and Nas at the Super Bowl.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
You know what though? I really wondered like his set list for the Super Bowl. Like that's because
I
it's
don't
got to
know.
be a tight 10 minutes, right? Like a
Yeah,
tight 10,
the
15 minutes.
only Drake diss song I can see is Not Like Us. I can't see him doing
I
Euphoria.
can't see Not Like Us
him.
being done at all.
You don't think so?
Especially if
Because of the topic and what he's talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, the topic and the lawsuits.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I guess we can transition to the lawsuits here. I'm gonna pull up a
Yeah.
nice little article about Mr.
Dr.
Kendrick
Drizzy
himself.
Drake,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen.
So Drake claims that UMG, the Universal Music Group, artificially inflated Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us numbers on Spotify. The petition claims that UMG engaged in deceptive practices, including using bots and payola to boost streams of Not Like Us. But UMG says that the fans choose the music they want to hear. So yeah, here's Drake fighting the system. Yeah, what do you think about this?
You know what's funny? It's almost it's gonna like expose him in the long run, because if he's trying to say like, oh, I know they're doing this for a fact, right? So they're saying that, they do that with you because you're signed to the same fucking label, like, so to do the same thing. I don't think they push this more than they push the regular big name artists. You know, if you got a hot song, half of the summer every playlist on, I don't use Spotify, but when I do, I use it. You know, so half of my playlist on Spotify had $1 Million Baby on it. I don't want to listen to that song, but half of my playlist had it because it was one of the hottest songs, right?
Yeah.
You can't help but if you listen to playlists like I did on Spotify with the playlist they make for you, because Spotify makes good playlists, they're going to put the hottest songs on those playlists. So the fact that Not Like Us is at like 900 million streams or something like that, it's you telling me that guy bought it and it was on every playlist since May? You know what I'm saying? Every playlist since May. I've seen little kids requesting it on Alexas. It's like, are you serious? Like, I don't think the streams were pushed any more than anybody else. Any more than you would push a Taylor Swift song, any more than you would push a Drake song, any more than you would push a Beyonce song. It's just a hot song. It's just the fact that you dropped the Heart Part 6 and nobody wanted to hear that. The beat isn't good. You're not rapping about anything cool. Then you got Family Matters. People didn't want to hear Family Matters either. You didn't drop a bop in your diss this time, Drake, and you can't get over that. You can't get over that. He didn't drop a bop. If he had a song that was performing almost on the same level as Kendrick, he wouldn't have did that. But in this lawsuit, well, he didn't. It's not a lawsuit. It's a petition for a lawsuit, right?
Yeah,
so he's trying to get the evidence. He's trying to get the rights to get the evidence to prove that Kendrick's streams were botted or used payola to get on these playlists. So if you file this, because you're saying that you're admitting that Not Like Us is harming your income. You'll never see this in hip hop. You will never see a rapper file a motion because he's saying that a diss song stopping his money, son. You will never, ever, 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 ever see this. And it's a shame.
And when I heard it, I'm like, wait, Drake is accusing other people of being paid off to play records. Like, isn't that what Drake's whole like thing has been about? Is
Scorpion was on a gospel playlist, dude. Scorpion was on gospel playlist. And what are we even talking about here? Drake can't drop a song without it being everywhere, and he's using everybody else.
But okay, so let's just say he has a case on it, right? There's bots, there's payola, whatever you want to say, sure, whatever.
Yeah.
Try to get your money. But wait, there's more, because Drake has launched a second bombshell legal action against Universal Music Group over Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us, accusing the music giant of defamation and claiming it could have been halted. It could have halted the release of a song, falsely accusing him of being a sex offender. So he is suing them because Universal could have stopped this song where he's getting falsely accused. So everything that Drake said is fine. That's not defamation of character.
Definitely
but
not defamation.
Anything against Drake though, oh, he took it too far. Yeah. Remember when I think we
had stopping his money.
Since when do rappers sue each other over rap beefs?
When do you sue another rapper for defamation? But it's technically he's suing the label, not Kendrick. So he can't get you. We can't say that he's putting this against Kendrick. He's going toward UMG, and people were saying that, speculating that he's trying to get out of his UMG deal. That's what this whole thing is.
We forgot to mention that this is the label that Drake is under, by the way. Both Drake and Lamar
they're
are
both
under UMG,
signed to the exact same thing. Kendrick is very much so signed to Interscope, which is owned by UMG. Drake is signed to whatever label, which is owned by UMG.
Republic.
It's the same thing.
Republic Records, yeah.
Owned by UMG. UMG just gave Drake $400 million. He ain't made that return back yet. He ain't made that back yet. He's got a European tour coming up. He just announced it on some guy's stream. I don't even know who stream that was.
Is it the same guy that he told to turn off the weekend? Is it the same guy?
Yeah, he told the weekend. Told the guy to turn the weekend off because he's a real Sixer.
Yeah, the weekend isn't for real Sixers.
Yeah, the weekend's not for real Sixers.
Hey, this is like if you didn't
cut his braids too. He cut his braids. He cut his braids.
He pulled a Wesley. If you didn't think that Drake lost the battle before already, I don't know why you wouldn't think that. This is like so admitting to defeat. It's not even
He's
funny.
admitting he lost the battle now, and it's to a laughable degree. It's like everybody, we all know you lost, but now you want to sue the label because you lost, son? Come on, you can't. What if Nas would have sued Def Jam for defamation?
It's like I can't even believe it. Like I've never heard of a rap beef that turned into like a court case or a lawsuit.
Bro, it's nothing he can say that can justify this. If he can't go on any streams, he can't make a song that's gonna have me like, well, yeah. It's never gonna be that. It's never, because what? Like this is rap. This is what we signed up for. The last beef, the last battle Drake had, he had to take care of his son. You didn't want to sue that guy? You didn't want to sue?
No, that was okay. That was okay talking about his son, but being a sex offender.
It didn't stop his money. He's basically admitting that this is stopping his revenue. I understand that part about it, but other than that, as pride as a rapper is down the drain.
I have a legit question, and try not to laugh. It's a real serious question. But do you think Drake cries himself to sleep?
At this point, he probably walks into that closet. He has all those Birkin bags. You know about this?
No, what?
So he has a closet full of Birkin bags of very expensive purses.
Okay.
Very, very expensive purses that he bought over a period of time that he's keeping for his future wife. So he probably walks into this closet full of Birkin bags, sits on a bench, and just lets out a big, and he just talks to the bags. He doesn't. He's just talking to the.
That should be the name of his next album, for all my bags.
For all the bags. When this is new information. I didn't know about this Drake lore either. I was like, he did what now? And apparently he has like a chain with wedding rings on it, something like that. Like a bunch of times he was going to propose. I don't know, dude. You go down a Drake rabbit hole after the beef, and it gets weird.
I don't think I want to go down anything Drake. Honestly, this is just ridiculous.
I about some stuff, man.
Like I respected his art, some of his songs and whatnot, but I was never like a fan of him. And then after all this, I'm just like, I don't want to listen to him ever again. I'm okay if he never makes another song. Honestly, the way he's
got weird, man. It's got really weird over the last couple months, and then this is losing. This is how you lose all credibility. Like the people who don't care about like rap credibility and like actual hip hop and stuff, they're never going to care. They never cared in the first place. They didn't care if he lost the battle.
Yeah,
they still don't care. But people like me and you and like real hip hop heads, like they're able to admit, even if you're a Drake fan, you got to be able to admit that he lost this, and he kind of spiraling. He was accusing the Pulitzer Prize winner spiraling, and he's spiraling way worse. If that's the case, he's going down. You don't get the law involved in a rap beef.
I
Get
I
the
just
wall.
I just like how Drake is like the only person in the room that's upset about all this. That's like saying, "Oh, rap music isn't the same anymore." Blah 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 blah. While everybody else is just jamming out to this Kendrick album, and they're gonna love the Super Bowl. They're gonna love his next album. They're gonna love everything he does. Like Kendrick is on top of the world right now. And the best part about it, like I mentioned in the video, he just doesn't care. He's just doing his thing. He's not even like stressing out about anything.
Even the other rappers right now are thriving. Like most other rappers are like crushing it. Like even the people like coming up like this summer wasn't Drake. This summer was Bossman, D-Lo, and Glorilla. That's who owned the summer. And I think that him not having a piece of that summer really didn't sit well with him.
I'm not familiar with Bossman D-Lo. That sounds like a main event for Sunday Night Heat.
The get with me guy. You want to be that guy. It was kind of everywhere all over the place for a minute, but it's like they took over the summer when it came to rap. Rap is moved by teenagers. If teenagers don't like it, they don't like it. You know what I'm saying? So I know Drake is he couldn't attach himself to either one of those big artists that was taking the summer over this year because he had stuff going on. So I know that was burning him up. Like it was really crushing him because he was just saying, "Oh, summer vibes." Right before the beef, it was summer vibes. None of those vibes came. None of them. He did Wagwan Delilah.
I forgot about that song. Oh my god, I forgot about that song. I never want to hear that song again.
Delilah and what other song? He did another like piece of shit too. Like I forget what it was.
Yeah, he did a bunch of terrible stuff.
Cold,
yeah,
it was weird.
Yeah,
real weird. Like June, like end of June. It was like what is going on right now? Oh, rap.
Yeah.
It's we're in a very very actually in a good place right now. Especially with this album just dropping. Tyler's album just dropped. The Grammy nominees came out. Not Like Us got nominated for 5 things.
Yeah.
And I think it's a sweep. Given that the Grammys don't give $1 Million Baby everything like they want to. Yeah, and the guy got nominated in the rap category, and he came out and said like he's not hip hop. So I'm thinking to myself, why are we nominating him for hip hop awards then? Are we going to Macklemore this guy too? Like what is going on?
I feel like that's always been like a source of criticism, like what genres do certain songs. It's just I feel like the Grammys never get it right. The Grammys never get it right. So I can't even pay attention to them honestly. But if Kendrick got some nominations and hopefully he wins, I think he deserves it. If 2024 is his year, I feel like 2025 is going to be like the strong sequel, The Godfather Part 2. We're going to get the Super Bowl performance. We're going to get the full-length album or second album from Kendrick. I think we're going to get some features. I'm still waiting for this Nas DJ Premier album to drop. It's supposed to be drop at the end of the year, and time's a ticking there, Nas era. So hopefully that drops because I'm looking forward to that as well. But yeah, I'm very happy for Kendrick, and I'm very happy with this project. And I'm eating it up. Like I haven't stopped listening to this at all. But we kind of mentioned it before. I guess we can talk a little bit more. A movie that me and you both watched was that Pharrell Lego movie, Piece by Piece. Really I honestly didn't know what to expect with this because it was weird. So like whenever a movie comes out as Lego pushes it like crazy. Like there's so much promotion for it. And when this came out, they kind of like were like, it's like the child like they have, but they don't really want to acknowledge too much. Like they promoted it. They came out with a set, but they weren't like throwing it in your face. Like, oh, you must do this.
Did they come out with a set?
Yeah, they have an actual.
I need it. I'll holler at you, but I need it.
Yeah,
I need it.
Give us your quick thoughts of Piece by Piece.
It was really dope. I understand why they probably didn't push it. They did have to remake the Rump Shaker video in Lego, so they probably were like, you know what, we don't want to do that. But that was dope. I like the recreation of the videos in Lego form. That was so fun. Because what's the best part about like an artist buyout movie? Recreating the old videos, and they did it in Lego form. So that was real cool. Learning some stuff that I didn't know about Pharrell, like that was even more fun.
Did you know about the Rump Shaker thing? Because I found that out. I think it was like a Netflix documentary where they talked about it, and that blew my mind when I first heard about it. But when they recreated it and actually showed it in the movie, the fact that he was the person that wrote Teddy Riley's verse on that was pretty cool.
I knew about that, but I heard about him doing the SWV in the right here first. I heard about that, and that I was like, hold on, that does sound like Pharrell. They're like, oh, that is Pharrell doing that. You know what I'm saying? So that I heard about that. Then I heard the story about him doing that verse, but it was like, yeah, it makes sense because, yeah. But I didn't know that how tight him and Pusha T was. I didn't know like they grew up together. I had no idea about that.
Did he? Just a quick question. Did he not grow up with Malice? Was it just Pusha T?
No, it was just Push. No, Malice wasn't there. His twin brother was guy that looked just like him.
Honestly, like with everything that Malice is going through, I feel like it might have been his decision to not be included because I feel like he himself has tried to step out of the spotlight, if I'm not mistaken.
But I feel like this would have been first of all, this is the most positive movie that he could have been a part of.
True.
I feel like this would have been okay for him to step out and not to use like his voice so much per se, like just have him with his brother. Yeah, like because you got a Lego grinding video with no Malice.
Yeah, they did. They mentioned like the name, the clips, like once or twice, but they never mentioned Malice by name. But that story was really cool. I had no idea. Like they were all, like I didn't realize he was so close to like Missy Elliott and Timbaland and all them. I knew they were from the same area, but I didn't know they actually like all like started together in a way. So that was really cool to see.
I seen a Missy documentary a while back, and she explained all of that. That's you know what? That's who needs a documentary because she wrote all of these talents. Songs like back then, everyone who came out of Virginia or who worked with Timbaland, she wrote all the songs. So like, she needs a documentary or a movie or something because Missy is like, she just got inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame like last year. Like, she's low key one of the greatest talents we had in this thing called hip hop. But the Virginia scene, and you think about all the people who came out of it, that's crazy.
And if Pharrell himself chose Lego, he could only imagine what Missy would, because she has one of the most creative minds in the business. I could see making like a whole freaking claymation movie based on her life or something.
I can see she do a claymation or an anime.
For anybody watching the video, this is the set right here. So it's the rocket ship that they show in one of the scenes with like kind of Kendrick. The whole theme is like him trying to be in space, right? He wants to leave the world and whatnot. So basically, this is a recreation of one of his dreams here of the spaceship flying, and it has all these colors coming out of the engine itself. But the cool part about it, if you see on the bottom right, it has all of his friends. So you have all the different skin tones and faces, and people are buying this set mostly for the diversity of the skin tones, because you don't really get that too much in Lego sets unless it's based on a certain movie or whatnot. So yeah, it's a really cool set for sure, and it's something that I definitely want to put on my Christmas list as well as on Beat Detroit's Christmas list. But speaking of Kendrick, he had a scene too, and that's something else that I could see maybe Lego kind of shying away from, because you had the whole like Black Lives Matter representation in there, recreated in Lego form as they showed Kendrick's video.
Yeah, and he's floating with the Jesus crown on his head in Lego form. So it's like there's a lot of tough images that you don't want to really push in Lego form.
Yeah, you had a couple weed jokes in there with Snoop Dogg. They were done in comedy acts, but they pretty much said he smokes weed and whatnot.
I like how they made it. They made sure they made him taller than Pharrell, because you know what's crazy? Like they kind of did, even in scale in general. They made sure they made Pharrell short. Like his Lego was always shorter than all the other Legos, because he's not a tall guy. So like the Snoop Legos were just that much taller than Pharrell. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Because he said like, yeah, I stood up and it was like all these guys like 6'5", and I was like, okay, cool. They got big Legos. They didn't just like zoom the camera out and make them small or anything. That was important though. That the small touches, I like it like that in Lego movies. That's really dope. Like some certain things I couldn't tell who was who sometimes.
Yeah.
Like until the nameplate popped up. Like if you wouldn't have said that was Gwen Stefani, I wouldn't know that was Gwen Stefani.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but I forgot how much he made for fucking No Doubt.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I feel like he might have been not the reasoning why No Doubt broke up, but he probably was some inspiration for Gwen to kind of go solo and start working with him, because you could even see in the movie like the other members of No Doubt were kind of like unsure about this. Like,
they're like, what do we do with our instruments now? Because he's making all our fucking music.
And then it wasn't shortly after that she kind of went solo and kept working with Pharrell. And not just Pharrell, we got to shout out Chad Hugo as well. He had more representation in there than I expected him. It wasn't all about Pharrell, so that's good. They kind of gave the Neptunes and NERD love. My favorite character in the movie is Noriega, N-O-R-E. He was hilarious when he broke down Super Thug, and the first time he heard the beat, and he was like, he had probably some of the most lines in the movie outside of Pharrell. But like, I love Nori's representation in the movie. I think it was
you know
great.
What's crazy though? His story about not knowing how to count bars, blew my mind when I first heard it. I was like, what? Like that's how you count bars? And he was like, the what's is how he counted when to come in. I'm like,
they kept it in. Yeah, that's crazy.
What? Like, I've been writing rap since I was 13. So like, but I think I always knew how to write bars. Like, I think I never thought about it. I just always knew such slash, and I was write them like that, slash such slash. And I'm like, damn, I never had to count bars, but I was in the band, so I already knew how to count measures. So I'm like, damn, how do people learn how to do this? Like things that I just know how to do. Like, and I was like, oh, that makes sense. Because my cousin who made the intro for this song, for this podcast, he had a weird way of counting bars. And I was like, what? because he was telling me like times. He was like, this you got the second verse and it's a minute and 20 seconds. I'm like, a minute and 20 seconds. How many bars is it?
Yeah.
What
What if the beat itself is slower or faster? That's
what I was like. I'm like, how many bars? He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, oh,
the way I learned how to split up bars was when I was younger. I used to transcribe all the Wu-Tang lyrics. I was part of a website that did WuLyrics.com, and we actually transcribed the Wu lyrics, and I had to like write bar from bar, and I had to figure out, okay, this word rhymes here, ends here, go to the next line. I literally formatted it, and now whenever you go to like Rap Genius, I was not taking credit or anything, but the way you see the format in Rap Genius is how I was doing it. Over 20 years ago, I was doing it the same exact way with the Wu-Tang lyrics. So I had friends as well that I tried to do music with, and they didn't know how to break down bars. And I had to explain to them. Okay,
I never thought about that, man.
It was like 16 bars of the regular. Usually the chorus is 4 times 2 or 8 times. Like there's a whole like format to it, and some people don't know that. They just write rhymes on paper, and then it's like, okay, what are you gonna do with this? You have 2 pages of raps here. This is 37 bars. What are you gonna do? Like, you know what I mean? Like
you got 48 bars, no hook. The thing is, like nowadays, people don't only do a verse, or they do 2 verses in the smallest hook, or 1 word hook, stuff like that. They're not doing like the old school format. Like when I first started writing raps, everybody was rapping 3 verses on every song. So
that was
you was harboring over that notebook writing those fucking verses, But yeah, just to even hear that part, like just those small stories, like I never knew how other people figured out rap, like. Because it's a thing you just learn on your own. You know what I'm saying? Like even making beats, you learn that on your own. Like how did Mustard find that fucking sample for what? What would he be searching? What?
Yeah, it's like I know there's a famous story of RZA when he made the beat for Gravel Pit. He was like in France, right? He was in some random like just dollar store in France and going through some old dusty records of old whatever. He found something, he played it right then and there. Boom, there is it. Nobody else is going to figure these things out unless you go out there and explore. That's what I love about production. But this movie, piece by piece, did a really good job of kind of like showing how you can hear sounds. They use the colors of the Lego. They use the pieces. You had the beats themselves were like in these little like capsules that you would open it and the beat would come out. But when he first like heard the beat, you hear all these different colors. You see these colors, and that was representation. I love whenever music itself is represented in other type of visuals. RZA did a good job with that on the Wu-Tang Hulu show, where he had like the different like the dream where he showed the different instruments and different parts and how they were seeing it in his head. Same idea here with Pharrell. Same idea with him kind of seeing the colors. Speaking of Wu-Tang, we have to get Neil Flanagan on this show once he's said and done with the Wu-Tang American Saga. I heard that he started it. Once he's said and done with it, we need to have him come on here and give us a review of the Wu-Tang show in only the way that Neil can. I think the world needs that right now. Piece by piece, highly recommend it. I'm not sure if it's streaming anywhere. I went ahead and just purchased it because I had to watch it. But I highly recommend it. Definitely a good movie to watch.
Definitely. We gotta get Bushby on the show too, because he hit me in the inbox when the Kendrick album dropped. I was like, I need a full review, and I was like, I got you. I was like, I got you this week. We coming with it. So we got
Bushby, we got Neil. WH Park keeps bugging me. I know he's over in Japan enjoying that. So yeah, we're gonna have we should do like a what do you call it? Like a what up though with like, I don't know, just outside personnel that don't really fit the hip hop mold. Like, just bring them in.
What up post?
What up? Yeah. And it'll be like a Q&A. Like what? Any question you want to ask about hip hop or anything in general? Now's your time to ask it.
What up post? We get the entire post wrestling family, Poison Around the family, and we just go and we just ask questions, because I feel like everybody like enjoys hip hop in their own way. And I'm always curious to find out like how you even got into it, and like especially people in different countries, like how did it reach you? What was the first thing to reach you? Because like everybody gets music differently. Like for me, I just grew up with hip hop because it's all around me. But like I got into rock and everything else through wrestling.
Yeah,
that's wrestling got me into every other genre of music, with country, everything, because you had all those genres every night in the 90s. So yeah, I'm always curious to hear that, and I would love to hear from the family like how they got into hip hop. Hip hop is, I mean, it's the biggest music genre in the world right now. We can't get any famous rock stars because all rappers. They're all rappers.
That might be a good topic for our next show as we finish off the year. Maybe kind of throw it out there. I'll take total blame for it. We said we're gonna have a feedback thread for this on the up next. I totally forgot to put it up. I apologize for the December show. we're gonna make it more about the listeners and just give us your thoughts of hip hop and how you got into it and what it means to you. I feel like that's gonna be a more representation for the listeners
Absolutely.
for that year. But as we dwindle down here, let's talk. We haven't really talked about gaming much. I'll be honest, I haven't had much time to game. I did pick up the new Lego game based on the Horizon series from PlayStation that me and my son started to. Just haven't had time to play it, but it looks like a fun game. But other than that, I haven't really dwelled too much into gaming. You said that you kind of jumped back into 2K.
Oh man, I've been really liking the 2K now. I don't know. It's like they kind of got the fine tunes with the updates and stuff, but since they put the new WCW pack in, and like they got all these new move packs and stuff, and I'm a big curator when it comes to that stuff. So I like to make my own universe modes and stuff. So I got to plan that again. But I've been really getting into some VR too lately. So, you know, I know you've seen the video I sent you when I was Deadpool driving around, but it's a game called Bone Labs, and it's a lot of mods in it, so you can kind of like take the character or anything. Like I got an Arc the Clown skin.
Ooh.
Like, yeah, so you can just run around in like these different environments. People have made like 7-Eleven and like small suburban neighborhoods and stuff, and you can like just spawn people and make your own scenes and stuff. It's real fun. But yeah, it drains your Oculus. It cooks your Oculus fast to the point that I'm looking into a battery pack in Black Friday. So hopefully I get that. I can play a little bit longer, but that thing cooks it cooks it.
Have
you ever thought about upgrading your Oculus?
I was just gonna ask you that. Like, I know the Oculus 3 is out. Like, I don't have to upgrade the entire set. I could just work on the 2 and kind of like put the accessories to it, right? Because I don't want to get a whole new set. I know the new Batman game is only for the 3, and that pisses me off so much.
Oh my god,
that's a game that I would want to play, honestly.
Yeah, I was thinking about getting the finally getting the Iron Man VR. It's been on it forever. You know what I mean?
Is that the same one that was on PlayStation? Because I feel like when I had the PSVR, I played an Iron Man game.
I think so. I think it is. I think it is. So if it is, I won't get it. I'll probably get the Assassin's Creed. But yeah, VR's been getting a lot of fun, man. I've been watching I've been watching wrestling a lot on it. Yeah, I turn it on and just like virtual like PC it and getting to one of the lobbies. So I'm like in this big theater. So I'm just watching shows on those sometimes. If I'm bored, I'll do that. You know what I mean?
I haven't given my VR much love. I think I need to do that for the holiday. I feel like for some reason when I think of like holidays, I think of like gaming.
That's what I did.
That's always my thing. So I feel like as we get into the holiday, like tomorrow, Thanksgiving, I'm going up to my brother's upstate. I might just bring my VR with me. Like, hey, my nephews and nieces, you know, try it out and whatnot. So I might do that. But as we end off the day before Thanksgiving here, I just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. You, of course, be Detroit. Probably my favorite holiday. I love eating. I love just chilling, just watching movies with my family, relaxing. I'm about to take my son and niece to watch Moana 2. Shout out to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I'm sure he needs that. He needs that money. He's struggling nowadays.
Oh yeah, he's an artist out here.
But what's your favorite like Thanksgiving traditions? What's your favorite foods to eat? What do you like to do with your family?
Honestly, my favorite tradition is the Lions. If the Lions aren't playing on Thanksgiving, I'm not. Well, we play every Thanksgiving, but that's the best thing, man. If they win, it's gonna be a good day. If they lose, it's gonna be a bad day. The entire family is gonna be a little bit down. You know what I mean?
Have you ever gone to a Lions game on Thanksgiving, or was that like
never been to a Thanksgiving game? It's usually just like a hard ticket to get because you know everybody comes in town too. So it's a tough ticket to get, but yeah, the Lions playing on Thanksgiving is tradition. Got to watch my boys. We should destroy the Bears this week. We should just destroy them. We've been beating the pants off everybody at a whopping 10-1. You know what I mean? We're going all the way to the Super Bowl, and we're going to win it. We're going to win it.
Don't talk about what you guys did to the Jaguars because Tony Khan might ban you from any future
AEW. We did the Jaguars so bad. Oh my God, it was a stadium stampede all up on their ass. It was really bad.
It looked like a Madden score. Like when you would like put the easy level on Madden, that's the type of score that I saw.
They was jobbing, brother. They was really shopping out there that day. Well, that's pretty much that's it. And just hanging with the fam, man. It gets everybody together again, and that's always fun. Just having my nieces and nephews. I might take the VR and hang with them. You know what I mean? My nephew loves it, so might let those guys see it. My mom never did it, so that'd be funny.
I tried that once. I tried it with my mom. I did the plank game where you walk on the plank. She was like holding my hand, shaking. I'm like, all right, mom, take it off before like you have a heart attack. I got so scared. I'm like, never mind. It was funny for like my nephews and nieces to watch it, but I don't think it was funny for her. So I was like,
let's stop this.
She's losing it.
No.
Alrighty, sign us off, B. We gotta go get some turkey in our stomachs.
Hey now, say now. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. That was a great episode. What up, though, man? If I say so myself, you made it all this way. Thank you for listening. Head on over to choptees.com and pick up some merch. Shirt I got on, hoodie right behind me, hat Siino's wearing, the shirt Siino's wearing, the jacket behind Siino, all choptees.com, and they all fire too. They all
Marketing.
fire.
We're marketing machines over here.
The jacket is crazy. We need to put the pins on. You need to put the post wrestling pin on there.
I was rocking this yesterday. My dad saw me. He's like, "Are you Axel Foley from Beverly Hills Cop?" And I'm like, "Yes, I am. Yes, I am."
Hell yeah! You got to pin it out now because you need some pins. You need to put a staff pin on there or something.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, work. But yeah, check us out, man. Give me a follow at Cool Game Big B on the Instagram. And where they can follow you at.
Siino Evil, CNOEVIL. I'm still on X as of now. I'm still on Instagram, but if you want to follow me on Blue Sky, I'm there at johnsiino.bluesky.social. So check me out on there. I try to keep it different. I try to have more work related, wrestling related stuff on X, and then on Blue Sky, some just personal thoughts about things.
Cool. Yeah. I'm gonna make the trip over to Blue Sky. I was on the fence about. I'm like, do I need another social media? But yeah, I think I'm gonna make the X deletion pack coming up soon. Yeah, I'm getting out of there. It's too much.
Don't blame you.
Yeah.
Alrighty, let's go.
All right, guys. See you later. Next month, the Christmas edition of What Up Doe coming right at you. Until the next time, y'all. Peace out.
Poison Rana.
Ronnie, what up, Doe?
Music hit, the crowd is lit, you know it's going down. Announcers know that pound for pound, these superstars, the dopest round. Be Detroit will lock you in a lion tamer, no disclaimer. Me inside your back, you forced to tap his facts, you in some danger. See no tagging in, suplexing like he tazzing, spazzing out on rappers. Give receipts as stiff as mannequins, we cashing in. My brothers know what up though, my cousins know what up though. My fans in the family from the city say what up though. My mama know what up though. My auntie say what up though. All around the city, if you with me, say what up though. Bring the hammer like it's Valentine. You know we bout that action prime. Breaking through your stable, flaming table used for power bombs. Pristine classics with these matches we putting on. Knees slapping, super kicking bars, strong as Glamazon.